Okay, so I wanted to go over the disappearance and missing persons case of Brandon Swanson. It's always been a really strange and perplexing case. This one, um, I follow a lot of these missing persons cases, and Brandon Swanson is one of them. I first got into missing persons cases um, when the case of Mara Murray happened, and Brianna Maitland, all of that, those both of those cases, um, and then like the Aisha Degree case, that little girl that went missing, um, in the I think early 2000s. That actually happened before all of these cases, but like those are some of the first missing persons cases I was like invested in. And so this one I haven't done a video on yet, but I'd like to kind of delve into this one here. This is a really strange. I think this is one of the strangest ones I've come across. There's a lot of strange ones. I think Mara Murray's case is really strange too. Of course, let's say this happened. Well, May 14th, 2008. Okay, so 2000, way back in 2008. Um, he was from Marshall, Minnesota. So he was only 19 years old. He drove his car into a ditch on his way home from celebrating the end of the spring semester with fellow college students. Um, he wasn't injured. He got out of his car and called his parents on his phone. Unsure, he wasn't sure of his exact location, but he told them he believed he was near the town of Lind, and they drove out to pick him. The parents went ahead and drove out to pick him up. However, they were unable to locate him or his vehicle. So Brandon remained on the phone with them until he went silent 45 minutes later. Or 47 minutes later, after shouting, "Oh shit," over the phone. He has not been seen or heard from since. So that's the big part of the mystery. The part where he goes silent after saying "oh shit" on the phone. After that, it was like dead silence. So that's the big part of the mystery here. Where is he, and what the heck happened at that very moment? Did he slip and fall? Was he attacked? We don't know. What the heck happened? There's all kinds of theories out there. So it's definitely a case that will suck you in once you read about it. Like once you hear about it, it'll just like Mara Murray's case. It will suck you in, you know, into it. Um, so in the morning, Brandon's parents reported him missing to the police, who advised them to wait, as such behavior was not uncommon for young men his age. Later that day, the circumstances of his disappearance, though, became more complicated when his cell phone records showed he had been near Porter, 25 miles from where Brandon had said he was, in a different direction. So that information led to the discovery of his car near Taunton. So he was pretty far from where he thought he was See, so that's a problem. I feel like that is kind of part of the mystery of this case. It's like, so all the cell phone records showed that he had been near like 25 miles or so away from where he thought he was, but was there any record at all of him being near where he said he was at all in the records? That's what I would like to know. Like, um, was he just never there at all? Because if there was even one record of him being near there, like, I was thinking of like his car being staged there, like a staged incident. But probably not, but that was just one thing that came to mind early on, I guess. What some people were saying. It is not known whether Brandon was aware of this discrepancy when he talked to his parents. Foul play has not been ruled out, but it has also been proposed that he might have accidentally fallen into the Yellow Medicine River. So, near where his car was found and possibly drowned, although extensive searches have not been able to find a body. Land searches with dogs have continued in the area for several years. His parents successfully lobbied the state legislature to pass Brandon's Law, which requires that police begin investigations of missing adults promptly. That's good. So he was celebrating with his friends that night. He was at two different parties. He was witnessed like drinking alcohol, but his friends said not enough to make him seem visibly intoxicated. So he's okay. Maybe he didn't drink like a ton, Maybe he was likely not heavily intoxicated. Let's just say. So he was in Canby, but he left Canby for the 30-mile drive home before midnight. Just before 2 a.m., he called his parents on his cell phone, telling them that he had driven his Chevrolet Lumina off the road and into a ditch from which he could not remove the car. He was not hurt and asked them to come to where he was and pick him up. So that's the initial accident. Now, why he was already in the wrong area. So did he not know that? That part is kind of weird to me. But maybe he just didn't know exactly where he was going. He just got misdirected. So the parents got in their pickup truck and drove out, to where they thought he was, they kept him on the phone. There were occasional hang-ups and drops. But Brandon stayed with his car and tried to signal them by flashing his lights on and off. But they didn't see, his parents didn't see any lights, nor did he see them do the same, because I guess they were trying to do the same. That's because, and of course, that's because they were in the wrong area. I mean, they weren't anywhere near each other, apparently. Brandon finally gave up and told them he was leaving the car to walk toward lights that he could see that led him to believe he was near Lind a small town roughly 7 miles southwest of Marshall. That's a long way to walk. In the dark, too. It would have been better for him to either have, like, stay there with his car or, like, I don't know, maybe try to go to one of those farms or farmhouses, because there would have been other lights, like farmhouse lights out there. From videos that I've seen in the area, it's just the whole thing is strange. But that's what he decided to do. He walked towards whatever lights that he was seeing. He told his father to head for a parking lot of a local bar and wait for him there. So Brandon began, or the father began driving there, talking to his son as he did. Shortly after 2:30, though, 47 minutes into the call, of course, Brandon suddenly interrupted himself on the phone and said, "Oh shit." He was silent for the remainder of the call. So the phone didn't go off. The phone was actually still on. Um, I think I would have tried to stay on the phone. His parents. So he was silent for the remainder of the call until his parents hung up and made multiple attempts to call him back. Of course, he never picked up again. Brandon has not been seen or heard from since. I believe on the call, I don't know if it says on here, but like they thought they heard a foot slipping sound. Um, so at 6:30 a.m., his parents reported Brandon missing to the Lind police. They were told at first that it was hardly unusual for young men that age to stay out all night after the last day of college classes. Um, we don't have to go over that because, see. So later that morning, the Lind police did start a search but found no trace of Brandon in the town or outside. They requested that the office of Leon County Sheriff Joel Dahl assist them to better focus the search. Now, the sheriff's office obtained Brandon's cell phone records, which revealed that he had been calling from the vicinity of Taunton along State Highway 68, the main route to Canby, northwest of Marshall. So that was 25 miles from Lind, where he thought he was. Searching in that area, deputies discovered Brandon's abandoned car in a ditch off of a gravel road along the Lincoln County line, a mile north of Highway 68, bringing the office of that county sheriff into the investigation as well. So they, eventually found it, but at this point, it was pretty late afterwards. Who knows what would have if and who, depending on what could have happened, I mean, they might have already been too late. with the searching. Um, the Lumina, the car had gotten hung up on the top of an incline at the edge of the road. It didn't damage the car, but enough to keep the wheels from touching the ground on that side. There was nothing else found amiss with the car. Um, and due to the grass and gravel in the area surrounding it, there were no tracks and thus no way to tell what direction Brandon might have started walking. Hmm. Well, that is a problem. Um, Actually, weren't all of the doors open though? Like I think all four of the doors were open on the car. So isn't that a little unusual? At least like that's what I've heard. Um, his cell phone call had been routed through a tower at the intersection of County Roads 3 and 10, um, near Minnesota. Wait, no, near Minneota. Okay, another town along Highway 68. By May 15th, the call had been determined to have come from within 5 miles of the tower. Searchers um, Searchers were concentrating their efforts there. Since part of that circle included Yellow Medicine County to the north, authorities from that jurisdiction also took part. So it was noted from the area that a red light atop a Taunton grain tower could be seen. Um, he thought that it was possible that the red light Brandon had seen had led him to believe Lind was within walking distance. There were ground searches and there was a flyover by an aerial team. Search dogs were also brought in. A team of bloodhounds. So a team of bloodhounds picked up a 3 mile scent trail. I think this is important. Scent trail that largely followed the field roads, north or west northwest to an abandoned farm. Then along the Yellow Medicine River to a point where it appeared to enter the stream. Now, um, let's see if it says. Okay, so it did appear to enter the stream, but then I don't know if it says here yet. It says in here at all, but it should be noted that the dog went through the stream and then on the other side where it continued to follow a scent trail down, this particular like gravel road, I believe, before it ended. So that's why they don't think that, like, the parents don't think that he drowned. But Brandon had mentioned passing fences and hearing nearby water. So that kind of goes with the scent trail area. Um, on the theory that Brandon might have drowned, boats from the Boats were deployed along the river and gates were installed. In some area, let's see, in some areas in Lincoln County, the water had been 10 feet deep on the morning of the disappearance, but had gone down since then. Um, depu- Deputies also walked the river's banks. Horses and all-terrain vehicles were deployed in the surrounding area. After the original search found no sign of Brandon, most efforts were discontinued. Sheriff Vizecki continued to walk the 2 miles of the Yellow Medicine River in that area every day for 30 days. The Swanson family left their porch light on all night, every night, as a symbol of their hope that Brandon would eventually return or be found, and still do. So that part's kind of sad. So searches resumed late that fall after fields planted shortly after the disappearance had been harvested. Dogs on those searches continued to follow scents of human remains into an area northwest of Porter that had not been searched earlier. Efforts picked up again in the spring after snow melted, but before planting, a cycle that continued through 2011. So by that time, 122 square miles had been searched. That's a lot. Wow. So in 2010, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension took over as lead agency on the case. It set up a tip line by 2015, 90 leads had been reported that way. By that point, when official searches resumed, the area of interest had moved towards Mud Creek, a tributary of the Yellow Medicine River, north and northwest of Porter. So, oh my goodness. While the trail followed, I think this is where they mentioned the more of the scent trail that I was talking about earlier. While the trail followed by one of the dogs went to the Yellow Medicine River, and despite her son's last known words, Annette Swanson does not think he drowned there. That's the mother. After following the scent to the water, that dog continued up across the other side and along that riverbank to another gravel road. See what I mean? Where it continued north towards the Yellow Medicine County line and ended. So if that dog picked up his exact scent trail, then he crossed the riverbank to another gravel road, and then something happened maybe when it at the end of the scent trail. Whatever, that could have been. The Swansons say there's really nothing to indicate that he's in the river. And the father also recalls that any alcohol his son had consumed earlier in the evening, notwithstanding, he did not seem disoriented or confused during their phone conversations. If Swanson is still alive, there are other possibilities, although they appear to be remote. He could have intentionally disappeared. That's talked about in a lot of disappearance cases, including Murray's. But his parents do not believe he would have done that. Doesn't seem like he. Why would he do that? Like that doesn't really make any sense in this particular case. Vizecki said he could not rule out foul play, even though there was no evidence of it. Could have been in the shadows, and they got him that way. Yeah, he speculated. Sure, Vizecki speculated that. I mean, if it wasn't the river, and he got out of the river and was still like going, then what happened on that gravel road? Like, I feel like something might have happened where the scent ended. Did he get into a car? Did he meet foul play on that road? Like, I'm leaning towards those scenarios over the drowning part. Um, so yeah, I that's what I'm leaning towards. Um, of course, the case is obviously still unsolved all these years later. Um, so okay, so let's go over this here a second. So, what could have happened here? Let me know what your theories are on what is your like your top theory on what you think most likely happened. Do you think he drowned in the river? Do you think he met with foul play? Because it seemed like the scent went past the river, like over the river, and back onto a road. Um, but yeah, like I feel like something happened while he was walking. Um, if that, um, that's just my feeling on it. Like I feel like maybe he did meet with foul play, and everything was covered up, and you know, um, a lot of different possibilities here. Like I've heard that maybe he could have fallen into like a hole or well. Um, and he's got stuck somewhere, like fell and got stuck somewhere. Um, there's a farmer, I guess, that did not want his land searched, while like most of the others were okay with it. Um, a dog picked up his scent on one of those farms, I guess, but nothing else, I think, was found. There's like nothing was found at all. There's like no trace of course, there's no trace of his body. There's no trace of his clothes or his, or his phone either. So, like, nothing. There's like no shred of any evidence at all, other than, of course, the car that he got hung up on the ditch in. Um, and they're still not sure exactly which direction, like, that he walked after after his car accident thing. Um, and in videos I've seen of the exact area, um, I mean, you could see like distant farms and stuff if you walk down the different roads, like farm buildings and lights and. But I guess he didn't. He wasn't trying to go that way though. He was trying to go. He saw another light that he was going to walk. That he was walking towards. So it had to have been a more distant light that he thought was um, miles away, and that he thought was the town of Lind. Um, it's just a little strange. I think it's a little bit strange to me that he didn't try to go like towards a closer light, like the farm, like where the farmhouse buildings were. I think that's probably what I would have done instead of like. But that's just me though. Like everybody would be different. But I don't think that I would go walking walking like that for miles and on country gravel roads and stuff unless I absolutely had to. Um, if I had no choice, obviously I would. But I mean, he did have some choices, I think. And it's too bad though that he didn't stay with the car, but I understand why he didn't stay with the car. I don't know if I would have stayed with the car either. Of course, if he did stay with the car, he most likely wouldn't be missing today. But I just feel like something happened while he was walking on those country gravel roads. Um, Possibly the road that the dog picked up the scent trail on, if that's accurate, if that's what happened. I mean, it could be that it was that it could be that didn't even. Well, we don't know for sure, but I mean, if that's what happened, then I feel like something. He met with foul play on one of those country roads that he was walking on. Just have a bad hunch on of. Just have a bad like feeling about that. But it could also be that he fell in the river as well. Like he said, "Oh shit." Then it was silent on the phone. Did he die like suddenly? It's so weird. Like you'd think that I would wonder like is there anything else on that phone call that they could hear um after the oh shit part? It was just like all completely silent. um like there was no um sound of like any kind of struggle or anything after that moment. Like that's weird to me that it was completely silent. So like I said, did he like you would think that maybe if he fell in water would they hear that over the phone? Like wouldn't so if say let's go through some scenarios. Say like if he got hit by a car or something, or whether he got hit by a car, or whether he was attacked in the dark, or like he fell in the river, or even fallen in a hole. Um, you'd think that there'd be a little bit more sound. I don't know. Like you wouldn't think that it would go completely silent right away. Of course, back then, our cell phones weren't the greatest, but like it did that. Now the cell phone didn't go off, so if it like went in water, like wouldn't the phone just kind of shut down? Um, of course, if he slipped in water, though, he could have like dropped his phone and it wasn't on in the water. But like, I don't know, man. The whole thing is really creepy, really creepy, eerie scenario. Let me know what you think though down below. I'll wrap this up here. Um, just going over the various thoughts I've had about on it, on what might have happened. I feel like maybe he met with foul play on one of the country roads that he was walking on. Um, but yeah, let me know anything that you would like to add or comment about with this case below. I'd like to hear everybody else's thoughts and theories on this, what they think might have happened. Um, and I'll be back with more disappearance cases in the near future. Um, got some others that I would that I that I might do, and any of course any updates on these cases, I'll definitely make other new videos on as well. Mara Murray, the Sudiksha Kunanki, that's a recent disappearance in the Dominican Republic. I've been doing videos on that. Um, and I want to make some more like newer videos as well. I've also been doing some videos on the Delphi murders, just my thoughts on all of that. And but yeah, this case in particular, the Brandon Swanson one is really strange. Um, it's very strange that there's no trace of him at all. Nothing. Not an article of clothing. They never found his phone. Um, I don't know, man. Just nothing, you know. But um, so I'll wrap this video up right now. But yeah, let me know what you think about this bizarre disappearance case. Um, and I'll be back with more videos here shortly.